Welcome to Unless, a grammar lesson for young learners. This is book 12 in our conditional sentences series. What does unless mean? We use unless to express a condition. It tells us that something will happen only if a particular situation does not occur first. Think of unless as a gate, where the action only happens if the gate stays open. First, it expresses a condition, meaning something happens only when a certain situation is met. Second, it gives a warning someone that something will or won't happen. Third, unless equals if not. So you can swap unless with if not and mean the exact same thing. Here is example 1, showing how something will happen under a condition. We use unless to say that something will happen under a particular condition, and the condition must be met for the action to take place. Our example sentence is, Alex plays tennis on Saturday mornings unless it is raining. This means Alex normally plays tennis on Saturdays, and the only reason he would stop is if it rains, so the weather is the condition. Here, the main action is that Alex plays tennis on Saturday mornings, and the condition introduced by unless is that if it is raining, he does not play. Example 2 shows that unless means if not. Unless has a very similar meaning to if not, and you can replace one with the other so the sentence means the exact same thing. This is a very useful trick to remember. With unless, we say, Gran always bakes cookies on Sunday, unless she is very tired. With if not, we say, Gran always bakes cookies on Sunday if she is not very tired. Both sentences carry the same meaning. Try swapping unless with if not whenever you want to check your understanding. Now let's look at using unless to give warnings. Sometimes we use unless to give warnings, which is very common in everyday life when parents, teachers, and friends let someone know what will happen if they do not do something. First, a warning sets a condition where the person must do something or a consequence follows. Second, the consequence is clear, so the listener understands what will happen if they do not act. Third, it motivates action, as warnings with unless encourage people to do the right thing. Remember, warnings with unless are friendly reminders, not always scary. Here is example 2, showing a warning in action. Notice how the consequence is stated first, and the condition follows after unless. Our sentence is, I will not take you to the park unless you tidy your room. What will happen? You will not go to the park. The condition with unless is that if you tidy your room first, then you can go. The child must tidy the room first, and if the room is tidy, the trip to the park can happen because the word unless makes the condition crystal clear. Example 3 teaches us the comma rule for starting a sentence with unless. We add a comma after the unless clause when we put unless at the beginning of a sentence. This separates the condition from the main action and makes the sentence easier to read. When unless is at the end, no comma is needed, as in, we will go hiking tomorrow, unless it rains heavily. When unless is at the start, add a comma. For example, unless it rains heavily, we will go hiking tomorrow. Remember, add a comma after the unless clause when it comes first. Your turn. Great job learning about unless, and now it is time to practice. Use what you have learned to complete the sentences that follow. First, think carefully and read the clues to help you write the correct form of the verb. Second, write your answer by filling in the blanks using unless and the words given. Third, check your work and compare your answer with the answer shown. And well done if you got it right. Question 1. Fill in the blank. Use the clue to complete the sentence correctly, thinking about where unless goes and which form of the verb to use. The clue is that he is not in Hong Kong. Our sentence starts with, Jake usually celebrates Christmas with his friends. The answer is, Jake usually celebrates Christmas with his friends unless he is not in Hong Kong. Notice that unless introduces the condition. So the only reason Jake would not celebrate with his friends is if he is away from Hong Kong. Question 2. Fill in the blank. This time, unless goes at the beginning of the sentence. Remember the punctuation rule, and don't forget your comma. The clue is that it is very cold. The second part of the sentence is, Tom does not wear a jacket. The answer is, unless it is very cold, Tom does not wear a jacket. Because unless starts the sentence, we add a comma after the clause before writing the main part of the sentence. Question 3. Fill in the blank. Use both parts of the clue to build a complete sentence with unless, changing the verbs into the correct form. The clue is getting to school on time and there being a traffic jam. Our sentence starts with Jenny always. The answer is Jenny always gets to school on time unless there is a traffic jam. Jenny is a punctual student, and the only thing that could make her late is a traffic jam on the road. Question 4. Fill in the blank. Unless comes at the beginning of this sentence. Build the sentence using both parts of the clue and remember your comma. The clue is Lucy having a stomachache and drinking milk every day. The answer is, unless Lucy has a stomachache, she drinks milk every day. Lucy has a healthy habit of drinking milk every day, and the condition is her stomachache, as only then would she skip her daily milk. Question 5. Fill in the blank. Use the clue to write a full sentence, thinking about which part is the main action and which part is the condition introduced by unless. The clue is Ben sweeping the floor every day and returning home late. The answer is Ben sweeps the floor every day unless he returns home late. Ben is very responsible at home, sweeping every day, and the only exception is when he gets home late from school or activities. Question 6. Fill in the blank. This is the final question. Use the clue to complete the sentence, checking whether unless should go at the beginning or end of the sentence. The clue is Dad reading books to my little sister every Sunday and needing to work. The answer is Dad reads books to my little sister every Sunday unless he needs to work. What a loving dad who makes Sunday story time a special routine where only work would keep him from it. Well done! You have learned all about unless, including how to use it to express conditions, give warnings, and build sentences correctly. Let's review our key rules. Key Rule 1. Unless expresses a condition, meaning the action happens only if the condition is not met. Key Rule 2. Unless equals if not, so you can swap them and the meaning stays the same. Key Rule 3. Unless can give warnings, telling someone what will happen if they don't act. Key Rule 4. Add a comma after the unless clause when it comes at the beginning of a sentence. Excellent work. Keep up the fantastic effort.